Okay, let's be real. Picking your child's very first school, it's a huge deal for any parent, isn't it? You're not just picking a place for them to learn, you're literally laying the foundation for their entire future. Today, we're going to take a look at an initiative in Mohali that's aiming to be exactly that.
So it all starts with this one big question that's on every parent's mind. What should that first, crucial step actually look like? Is it just about learning ABCs and 1, 2, 3s? Or is it something more, something that helps them grow as a whole person?
Well, keeping that big question in mind, let's talk about Gurukul Vatika. It's a new daycare and preschool that's just opened up in Mohali, and it's being presented as the answer for parents who are searching for that truly complete, comprehensive start for their kids.
Okay, so whenever you're looking at a new school, what's the first thing you want to know? Who's behind it, right? Because trust is absolutely everything. And in this case, the story of Gurukul Vatika really begins with the legacy of its parent company, the Danushtari Group.
And wow, their story is a long one. We're talking a century in the making. This group didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It all started way back in 1923 with a farming family, deeply rooted in the soil of Punjab. From those humble beginnings, they grew into agro-foods and rice mills, and later they branched out into finance and real estate. So this latest move into education, it's not just another business plan. It's framed as the next natural chapter in a long, long story of community growth.
And you can see how that history really shapes their entire philosophy. What you get is this interesting blend of old-school family values with modern business know-how. Their connection to the Punjab community isn't just about location, it's about history. It feels like this sense of social responsibility. Giving back through jobs and now education is just part of their DNA.
All right, so we've got the who sorted, but what about the how? How does all that history and philosophy translate into what they actually do in the classroom? Let's dive into their vision and their unique approach to early learning.
And their vision is super clear. It's not just about teaching stuff. It's about creating an entire ecosystem. The main goal? A safe, loving, and encouraging place where a child's natural creativity and intelligence can just blossom. So how do they do it? Well, they have this really cool concept they call learn-tainment. I love that. It gets right to the heart of how little kids learn best, right? By mixing activity-based learning with fun and entertainment. The idea is to get away from just memorizing things and instead make learning a really joyful and engaging experience.
And this is where you can really see the difference. On one hand, some schools might be narrowly focused on the traditional curriculum, but Gurukul Vatika is all about holistic growth. They believe things like character building, creativity, and socio-emotional learning are just as critical as the academics. It's about shaping a kid who is well-rounded and confident.
Now, a huge part of making this holistic approach actually work is personalized attention. And they do this by keeping their class sizes really small. We're talking just 10 to 12 students in a classroom. That means their trained staff can give each child the kind of individual care and focus that's just so important in these early years.
Now let's talk about something that is, let's face it, at the top of every single parent's list: safety. And of course, none of this other stuff matters if you don't feel your kid is safe, right? Gurukul Vatika clearly gets this. They've really focused on creating a secure environment from the ground up. From child-safe buildings and purified drinking water to having a medical room right on site. They also make a big deal about parent-teacher interaction, which is so key to building that circle of trust.
Okay, so we've looked at where they come from and what they do. Let's pull it all together now. What really makes Gurukul Vatika stand out? Why would a parent choose them over all the other options out there?
It really boils down to these three big things. First, it's inspired by real values, not just corporate goals. It's rooted in this long family history of serving the community. Second, the focus is on true holistic growth, the whole child. And third, it's all driven by this deep sense of social responsibility that you can trace right back to their farming roots.
In a world that's full of these huge, kind of impersonal school chains, Gurukul Vatika is trying to be something different. They are proudly local, they are deeply connected to their community, and they are guided by those family values we talked about.
So for anyone in the area, their head office is located in Sector 65A, Mohali. And what's really important is that this is just the beginning for them. They've got big plans to grow and bring this model of education to even more families all across the region.
And that brings us right back to where we started, with that really important question. Now that you know about this pretty unique approach, one that mixes a century of history with a modern, holistic vision, how will you choose to lay the foundation for your child's future?